Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to another episode of the Seven Podcast. Usually I dive into a specific entrepreneur field, but today I'm diving into the life of a mom entrepreneur, or as they call them, mompreneurs. Entrepreneur life isn't easy. Mom life isn't easy. So to be able to balance the two takes a lot of resilience, and that doesn't get recognized enough. So I'm here to shine light on that. I myself don't know what it's like to walk in their shoes. If you're a mother and on the fence about becoming an entrepreneur, hopefully this episode opens your eyes. But I'm gonna be quiet and let them introduce themselves, and then we'll get into it.
Okay. My name is Sky. I am 28 years old. I'm from New York, currently living in New Jersey. I work full time and I'm also a lash tech. Hopefully, within the next year, I can be a full-time lash tech, or I would say better off, a trainer. I think education within the lash world or the lash field is where I actually want to end up. But yeah, that's where I'm at now.
I guess I'll go. My name is Christina. I am currently out of San Diego. I own a lingerie line and I also own a bartending school. And I also bartend in downtown San Diego. So I work at a lot of clubs, a lot of bars and things like that. So.
Hi, my name's Marche. I'm 26 years old. I am from Cleveland/Nashville. I'm currently active duty military, but I will be retired very soon. I currently do real estate and I am getting close to getting my foot wet in the trucking industry. And I have a 6-month-old baby boy.
Okay. So, what came first, the mother life or entrepreneur life?
Mother's life came first for me. My son is 12. So yeah, motherhood definitely came first for me.
Yeah, same here. Motherhood came first for me, but the same year that I gave birth is when I actually took my lash training and been doing it ever since.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Entrepreneurship came for me. Honestly, kids wasn't even in like the it wasn't even in the plan. But it was definitely entrepreneurship.
Okay. How did y'all start? Like, what made you start your entrepreneurship?
For me, it was more so like during COVID time, and we kind of had like that. We kind of had like that surge of like small businesses opening, and I didn't necessarily want to do the same thing that everybody was doing, and I had already been like modeling here and there, so that's how the lingerie thing kind of came about for me. It was I love lingerie, and it just kind of made sense to go like that route. So, and then the bartending. I've been bartending for a long time, and people are always asking me to train them or like give them the ins and outs of it. And eventually it's kind of like, okay, I might as well start making money teaching people how to bartend. So that's kind of how that came about for me.
Okay.
Dang, I don't even really remember. I know it was definitely before COVID. I want to say that it started for me looking into other things because I was on bed rest pretty much my entire pregnancy. So I wasn't able to work anymore. Literally, like at 20 weeks, at my 20-week appointment, they put me on bed rest. So for 17 weeks straight, I was literally out of commission. But I don't know if I grew interest to doing lashes just from being home all day, seeing other people doing it. I wasn't a person who went and got my lashes done frequently. I really don't know, what drove me to do that. I don't know if it was the feeling of being a new mom and like, I want to, try my best and this full-time job just isn't cutting it, or like, me wanting like, to move out of my mother's house and, not feeling comfortable with what I was making, working the 9 to 5 job. I really don't know what exactly drew me to begin doing lashes. But I've been doing it ever since. I gave, like I said, like the first year that I gave birth, I started doing lashes, and I really didn't enjoy doing it at first. I think it was for me, I was really in it like just, to have like a side hustle, another income. But with trial and like tribulations, as I, see my work getting better, as I see myself making people happy, I just continued it, and I've been doing it ever since. And that's actually, what I want to forward my career path doing. Okay. So yeah.
Mine was, I've always kind of lived my life kind of on a wing it stage. I feel like I just now got grounded now that I have a kid, but I always knew I wanted to do business. I already knew when at a young age that working was just not something I really wanted to do. Like, I didn't know if I wanted to work for myself, but I just know like I just didn't want to work hard. I see my parents do it, and that's just something I wasn't interested in. So active duty military, I've been in almost 10 years. And as I was going through the military, I was like, this is just not it. Like, I just don't see me doing 20 years. I had to figure something else out. A lot of my peers and counterparts, people I ended up being friends with through the military, a lot of them were making outside money, doing like the same things that these ladies do, like, hair, makeup, lashes. And I'm not good at any of those. So I was like, okay, well, God, what can I do? And this is super random, but my supervisor, my chief, he was like, why don't you just buy a house and start real estate? And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, it's really easy, which is not easy, but he's like, yeah, just buy a house. So I was like, okay. So I ended up buying my first house in 2020, like right around COVID at the end. Again, like I was winging it. I really didn't even expect to get the house. I was just like, if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't. And I ended up getting it. And then I put my first tenants in there in December. So I bought the house in November. I put my tenants in there in December. And then that was a very funny thing to do. Like, what I mean by funny, like that was so difficult. I didn't even know that being a landlord was like going to be that hard. And at the time I was 25 and I just found out I was like pregnant. So I was like, oh shit, what am I about to do? And then after that, I seen a lot of my other friends get into trucking. Like that was making them money, like more money to do other things. So I was like, okay, that's something I'm also interested in that I want to do. My goal for working has always been to be behind the scenes. Like I never want to be the face for anything. Like I never want to be like this big. I want to always be in the background. Like that's my main like goal as my own boss, I guess.
Like a silent killer. So like, how do you guys balance the two?
It's hard.
Yeah, it's hard. I would say trying to have a good schedule or like at least a good routine. But it's hard. Like life is obviously you can't just always plan everything to be perfect and right every day. So I try to just take on every day like just with a new perspective. Just like new motivation, things like that. I try to get my son like, to help me like either passing out flyers or like, if I'm mailing orders out, I'm having him tape the labels or, just stuff like that. So it's kind of like we're still spending time together, he's kind of getting involved in the like entrepreneur world and things like that. So that's kind of how I balance it. I try to do a lot of stuff while he's at school, so I can try to like spend as much time with him while he's not in school. And yeah.
Yeah, so for me, like, so remember I told you guys that I started doing lashes, like, the first year that I gave birth. So she really is like a lash baby, like, because, like, she's been right by my side doing lashes from like the moment I started. So when I first initially started, I was working out of my mother's house because that's where I was living at the time. And so she was there, right? Because that's her home. And then eventually I started working in a salon and she was there. She would be right there in the stroller with me. And I mean, that's that kind of scenery is, for me, it was good because, you know, like the other ladies in the shop, the owners and everything, like they would help me out. So like I would have her sitting like, you know, right beside me in front of a TV, you know, watching some, you know, kids show. But let's say if she needed to, like, if she was hungry or if she was like dropping the bottle, they would help me, you know. But most of the time, like, is me, you know, balancing both lashing and then, you know, trying to prop something up, like, you know, like a pillow or a towel or something that could hold her bottle for her. That was in her really, like, you know, early stages. But I mean, she's 4 now, so now she's kind of used to it. She's still with me every single day. Every client I have, she's right with me. But now since she's getting bigger and I guess, you know, she's accustomed to it, as long as she's occupied with something, she's right by my side. She helps me. If I say, oh, you know, can you go and get me this? Or can you throw this out for me? Like, she's like a little assistant for me now. But yeah, and then, you know, of course, like, you know, on rare days, you know, if there's somebody that's like, for instance, if her dad's not working and I have a client that day, if he could watch her, then he'll watch her. But most of the time, I don't even ask for that because she's so accustomed to that, you know, work environment with me doing lashes that she knows, like, all right, this is what's going on. Like, I'm gonna sit over here. I'm gonna, you know, be on my iPad, or I'm gonna eat my chicken nuggets. Like, I'm gonna help her out when she needs help. But it is hard, and it's extremely hard, especially adapting to that when you have a newborn. So Marsha, right?
Yeah, it's Marche. You're fine.
Yeah, I know, especially if your child is not in daycare or something like that. I know, especially if you take, you're behind the scenes, and your business sounds like it's probably like, you know, working on its own. But like me, where I'm like hands on and I have to be there, like doing lashes and like, you know, I take clients in the evening because I work a 9 to 5. Like, she's not going to be in the daycare. So she's right there with me. But that beginning newborn doing it, that stage was extremely tough. And yeah.
I was just like I don't want to see if I messed her name up. Christina. Yeah, okay. Just like Christina was saying, like the whole balance thing, like taking it one day at a time is like my main mantra for like being a mom, like especially doing with business. Like the other two ladies, like they're like physically hands on, like working, like they're boots on ground doing, you know, what they need to do. So like, you know, say for instance, like Scotty, you know, she's not in the mood, but you know, she has to lash. Like you got to push past that. Like for me, mine's like, I feel like, you know, you guys are like physical and mental. Mine's is like super mental. Because you know, a lot of mine is behind the scenes. Like, and I just now started I just learned a new trick about real estate, about not really kind of being around and being like too accessible for your tenants. For me, the way I balance it is, I guess, like they said, I just take it one day at a time. Like my 6-month-old, he is in, you know, he's in military like daycare. So like he goes there, but every 2 seconds they call me for anything to come pick him up. So it's just like, is he really in daycare? But for the most part, like I already have like issues with myself mentally. So like just being a mom and then still doing what I have to do, it is a struggle. But just knowing how I was raised and how I want my son to have every opportunity to live life and not be on some like, well, my mom worked so much that we weren't able to do X, Y, and Z. So that's like the only thing that really kind of keeps me like, okay, today's not a really good day, but I gotta do this. And some days, just like Christina was saying, like I just don't. Like some days I really just don't do it. Like it just depends. If it's really like a tough day for me, I just will not do it. I will pick him up from daycare, feed him, do what I need to do, let him play, and then that's it for me. Like I won't do anything, calls, texts, anything. You know, it's like kind of protecting yourself a little bit so you don't like lash out at people. Because being a mom, I didn't know this because, you know, I'm a new mom, but I didn't know like being a mom came with so much.
Yeah, there's a lot that they don't tell you about being a mom before you become a mom. Like even before you get the child out of you, the things that go on during pregnancy alone, they don't really share that. Like it looks very like glamorous and oh, like this is beautiful. Not everything is like beautiful, and that's okay. Like, you know.
Yeah.
Thanks. So like, is there anything that could help you guys like with the process, or like, yeah, like pretty much the process? Like, would you guys recommend like having like a planner or like a whiteboard or like, I don't know, anything that will help?
Definitely. Yeah, you could go ahead, Christina.
I'm also say go ahead. Um, um, Me personally, I think that having a good support system is probably the best thing that you can have to help you. Because, I mean, I don't know about everybody else. Me personally, I'm a single mom, so it's a little bit harder. Like my son doesn't see his dad, or he doesn't have like a relationship with his dad at all. So having my parents and like my brothers and, you know, my friends and his play aunties and play uncles and things like that, I would say to not be afraid to ask for help either, because I think as moms, we take on this like superwoman complex where we want to, you know, we got to pick up the kids from school. We got to drop them off. We got to have dinner ready. We got to have, you know, this, that, and the third. And I know for me personally, that's one thing I'm working on, is being okay with asking for help and not being so like hard on myself when I need it, you know? And I think that that's like, that's probably the biggest thing. I mean, I'm not the most organized person at all. I tried to do, I try to do the schedule thing. I try to do the whiteboard thing. I try, and it just, there's every day is different for me. So it's like, even though I may not have an appointment, or, you know, I might not have, because I also bartend private parties, and, you know, I may not have a shoot in the morning, but 2 o'clock rolls around, I'm getting a call like, hey, can you come shoot in 4 hours? And now I got to figure out a way to get my son from school to home, or, you know, things like that. So not every day is going to be the same, especially when you are an entrepreneur. So it's having that like support system and that backup is probably the best thing that I could say to have.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. I agree 100% with Christina. Support system is very important. Even if that, you know, everybody doesn't have a support system within their family. Like, you know, a lot of people, you know, have relocated, may not have family around them at the time, or, you know, may not be in the best position to ask their family for help, or whatever the scenario is. Sometimes your support system also like can be a friend that you trust. You know, a lot of times if you end up putting your child in some sort of like daycare program, a lot of times, like, you know, those workers, they treat your kid like, you know, like one of theirs. And like I've had, you know, when you know, when my daughter was younger and she was in daycare, she has such a good bond with you know, her teacher, you know, whatever we call them. Her teacher was asking me like, you know, if you ever need help on Saturdays or whatever, just let me know. And, you know, me just as like a first time mom, like, you know, very overprotective. I'm like, no, like, you know, she's good on the cameras with you here on Monday through Friday. But, you know, like, you know, sometimes like, you know, create those bonds, even if it's without, you know, even if it's not within your family. Like if you see somebody's loving on your child and you're comfortable with them, create those bonds. Like it doesn't have to be a family member or somebody that you grew up with. Like, you know, there's people like, you know, who are genuinely there, like, and want to help, and, you know, explore that. But so support system definitely is like, you know, if you can get that, like go all the way with that, because everybody needs someone, like, you know. But also another thing is earlier this year, I kind of had like a kind of like a breakdown, like an eternal breakdown between myself and like, I guess my business, where like I had just moved to Jersey and it was just too much. Like you know, the working all day and then after straight from work, rush hour, driving back to the city in rush hour, you know, every single day to do lashes, it just took a toll on me. And I didn't realize it until it happened. But I did wish that I caught it sooner. But I'm happy that it happened, because my focus was so much on making money, that I had to step back and say, okay, you got to have like another, you know, like Joe said to me today, he said, what's your end goal? And it can't just be all about money. Like, what is making you happy? What are you actually doing this for? Like, you know, and it's, if you ask me, it's for my child, right? I want her to be as comfortable as she can. But if I'm not happy, you're not going to be comfortable no matter how much money you have.
Yeah.
So I had to basically, instead of working or, allowing people to book Monday through Saturday, I had to say, you know what, I'm gonna take as many people as I can, maybe 2 or 3 days out of the week. And those other 2 days, like, that's just free time, me and you time. And I feel so much better. So don't overcrowd yourself, like, just focusing on money, 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 money. Like, make sure you have some time somewhere during the week, whether it's a day or two, whatever it is, that you could just reset, come back to, not working life, and, enjoy your family, enjoy your child, like, and just have a peace of mind. Because overworking yourself, yeah, the benefit is going to be the money, but you're going to be overworked, and you're not even going to enjoy that money that you just made. You're going to be tired. You're not going to want to do anything. You might fall into a depression, and moms, we know all about that, postpartum, and, and that, have, like Christina said, trying to be superwoman all the time. And the mother role does not stop. So don't overwork yourself. You're already overworked being a mom, period. Like, don't overwork yourself, doing something else as well. That would be my suggestion.
I agree with both these ladies, especially like the support. I never, like I said, kids went into plan, so I never felt the need to need anybody because it was just me. So when I had my son, I never knew how much I needed other people. So I live in Maryland. My son's dad live in Virginia, just because we're stationed apart. So our dynamic is so difficult. He comes when he can. Duty. He has another kid that's in Virginia. So it's just like there's so many like things that go on between like us trying to parent together. So it is difficult for me. And I have my roommate, she says, God mom, thank God we live together, because without her I probably would have lost it like a long time ago. Support is so big, and if I ever really truly need like help, just like Sky said, I'm super overprotective over my kids, so I just can't let anyone, because you just now in today's day, you really see consistently on the internet about people being weird or wanting ill will intent towards your child. So now that I'm a parent, I think like the only person that could actually keep my son, like keep him, is barely his dad. I'm still skeptical about that, but it's my mom. I will fly my son to Nashville to go be my mom. So support is like literally like I feel like the only thing that the most thing a mom can have. And just like they were saying about super mom, I think I have a close friend. To me, she resembled super mom, but I never seen behind the scenes how it really affected her. And so when I first had my kid, I wanted to quote unquote be super mom, but I had to get into my own rhythm and my own footing of who I was as a mother. Like I'm not, like she said, like I'm not a super organized person. Like I have a whiteboard and a planner. I probably use them probably once every 2 months. I'm not like I'm not fake it till you make it. Like I'm super transparent, and I'm super like, if I could do it, I could do it. If I can't, I can't. But I do try. I will say I do try extra because I have a son. Because I don't know if y'all got the vibe yet, but I'm like super free spirited as a person. So like, but with my kid, I want, like they said, a routine, a balance. I don't want to just be like willy nilly, and then my son has no ground. So yeah, like sport is like, I just didn't realize how much, because if you're a person who kind of feel like you don't need people in general, and then you have a kid, you're like, whoa, like you're in a totally different playing field after you have your child. And it's hard to even trust people sometimes, because you don't know who has the best intentions for your child more than you. So yeah, I agree. Support is like the best thing they can have.
Yeah, I can't speak for a mother, because obviously I'm not a mother, but I feel like that's good that you guys are like humble and like transparent about it, and like you guys know what you need to move forward. And I feel like people that's listening can get that insight and maybe have a different perspective on it. So thank you for that. I know, Sky, you say you're like Jayla, she's around you when you work. Marche and Christina, I'm not sure if your children are around you when you work, but I know children are like sponges, like they absorb everything. So like, as far as like the skills that you hone, or like the entrepreneurial life that you have I don't know if you want to pass that down to them, or you would want them to venture out like you guys did and just try new things. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, okay. So, I don't necessarily like have my son, like, he won't come to like photo shoots and like things like that, because it's girls walking around in lingerie and no, so that's a no. But and the bartending thing, like, you know, obviously he can't come to the club, but like when I work at the restaurant or things like that, you know, we have a lot of like celebrities that come in, or, you know, just a lot of events. And normally we don't let kids come, but because he is my son, and, you know, sometimes I don't have a babysitter, so sometimes he has to come. And he's able to be in that environment and kind of like see behind the scenes, and kind of like, it's kind of cool for him. Because I'm a nosy mom as well, and I go through his phone. And so a lot of times, you know, telling his friends like, oh, I met so-and-so, I met, you know, this celebrity. And he'll really act like it's nothing around me. Like, he'll be like, oh, nonchalant. Like, I'm like, okay, am I not cool enough for you or something? I don't understand. He just met like some, but it does when I see it on the back end, like, he won't come back to me and tell me, obviously, but for him to like, to see him being able to like kind of boast about that with his friends. And it kind of just gives me like it allows him to see that, even though like I do have like, I still obviously am working for somebody, helping them out. That ties into my entrepreneurship, because I'm constantly talking to people, telling them about my bartending school, or telling them about my lingerie line. And even though he's not, you know, directly helping me with the lingerie and stuff like that, you know, when I'm sending out orders, or, you know, just doing like marketing, or, you know, things like I need to mail stuff out, or he's helping me in those sense. And when I'm able to make adjustments to my schedule to like cater to him, and I see that kind of like, he was opposed to when I had an office job and I couldn't do those things, I can tell his happiness in those changes. So he definitely he picks up on the entrepreneurship. He definitely does not, I don't think he'll want to go into like bartending or anything like that. But he definitely, in his own skills and own, you know, talents and stuff, I already see like he has that entrepreneurship in him. And not that entrepreneurship is for everybody, but just that drive and that motivation. And you know, it's just kind of teaching you life skills, whether you become an entrepreneur or not. But it's just, at least it's him seeing me work hard and me achieving things that I wanted to achieve in my dreams, and at least setting a foundation for him to not have to struggle so hard in life. And, you know, that's obviously, that's our goal as a mom, is, you know, we want to give our kids better. We want our kids to do better than we did. So I feel like as long as that foundation is being set, you know, I'll be happy whatever he chooses to do, whether he be, you know, whatever road he goes on. But at least he's able to see that this hard work and all the things that come with entrepreneurship, he's able to see that and learn from it. So
yeah, so my daughter, she's definitely a sponge. She's like my little shadow, and I think that's my fault. Yes, you're my daughter. But so I already see her, you know, watching my every move, especially with like work. Like when I'm working my regular job, I had to get her, you know, I gotta give her my MacBook so she could pretend like she's typing on that, because she sees me typing. And then when I'm doing lashes, it's like, if she sees me get up, she'll try to hop in my stool and like brush somebody's lashes or something. So I already see her, you know, wanting to do things, not because, you know, she may want to, but just because she sees me doing it. And like, you know, I'm her mom, so of course she's gonna look up to me, right? Now, if she said to me at 15, 16 years old, Ma, I wanna, you know, I wanna work, I wanna make my own money, can you teach me how to do lashes? I'm here for it, 110%. Just because that is something that you don't even gotta pay to go and do. Like, I could teach you myself. And I know that this is a great way for you to be a young entrepreneur starting off. But what I like, you know, want her to do that just because I'm doing it. No, like I would hate if she was only doing that because she seen me doing it. I want her to go into something that she actually, you know, thought about and said, yeah, this is what I want to do. This is who I want to become. I don't want her to like walk in my shadow or ever feel like she needs to, you know, continue something I started. I want her to do things, you know, for herself and, you know, things that she enjoys and truly thought out and sat down and said, this is for me. So if she wanted to learn from me, definitely, you know, no problem. But I would just want to make sure that she's happy doing whatever it is she wants to do. And it's not just because she sees me doing it, if that makes sense.
No, that makes sense.
So for me, who I am as a person, I don't plan on working for nobody, but I don't want my son to feel like that's who he is as a person. I am like super advocate for like supporting him in every like adventure or anything that he wants to do, whether if he wants to be an artist or if he wants to stop rapping. He's not doing no mixtape. We're not doing that. But everything else, like I want to support him. Like I don't want him to be like, yeah, I want to just do my own business because I see my mom do it. I am going to teach him the necessary skills, like how to talk to people, how to present yourself, you know, how to invest, stuff like that. But I won't, you know how like back in the day when I guess you would see on TV, kids' parents would be doctors. So they'd be like, so you have to be second generation doctor. Like, no, that's not what I want for him. I really just want him to have every opportunity to explore and do what he loves and likes to do. I think that's why we're like all in business. Cause you know, I don't know about anybody else. And me coming up, my parents didn't have a lot. So my opportunities were limited based off money alone. So by me having that and having that freedom and all that other stuff, he's able to do and try whatever and find himself. Cause I'm like 26 and I'm still trying to find myself. So that's like my goal for him. I will teach him like how to run a business, how to manage people, how to talk to people, you know, all those necessary steps if he does want to be his own boss. But I'm not going to say, look, you're not working for anybody, because everyone, you know, that's not everyone's thing. And I think some people, I think like our society they just keep making it seem like everyone has to be a business owner, and you just don't. Like, it's not for everybody. And I don't want to pressure him to feeling like, yeah, you're not working for anybody, because that's just like, if you work for somebody, then you're not, you know, a good person or a strong person. No, I want him to do whatever makes him happy, except being a mixtape rap artist. That's just not gonna happen.
That's true. I mean, I know you all want your children to do what they love to do, but would you rather them do what they love, make money on their own dime, so that they can have their own free time, like instead of working for somebody? I feel like that's more rewarding in my opinion. But like, I know you don't want them to just follow this road of not working for somebody. I mean, I just feel like that's the more rewarding path. But you guys are the moms, so you know what's best for them. So
I think that if he chooses to go that route, I would just, the best advice that I would be able to give him is that as much as you think that you're not going to be working, like if you think that going into entrepreneurship is going to be giving you a chance to work less or not work as hard, or it's like an easier route, that's not the case, because you working more, you're taking on more. It's not just like now I got all this free time and I can work when I want to. Then you're not really making no money, and you're really not about your business. Then because entrepreneurship, because when I first started off as an entrepreneur, in my head I thought I'm about to just work when I want, have more free time, live my best life. I'm gonna take my laptop to the beach. No, and actually diving into it, if you would ask me now, I wouldn't change being an entrepreneur, but I probably would have went into it with a different mind frame, as opposed to it's going to be easier, because it was definitely not that. And so I would definitely want him to know that, and know that you're putting your own money, you're putting in your own time, you're sacrificing a lot of things, and not saying it's always the easiest or the best way, but it's not. I don't want him going into it thinking that it's an easy route. I would want him to be equipped with knowing the pros and the cons, and then making that decision. And even if you have to work with somebody else while you're pursuing your entrepreneurship, it's not always just a one road. We're not just taking one road to get to the goal or destination. Mm-hmm. There's many different roads, and whatever road he chooses to take, I just want him to know that I support him, and that whatever he learned from watching me work and do what I do, then I just want him to be prepared and have all the tools to make that decision.
For sure. Right. Yeah, I agree with everything Christina said. I think that what most importantly for me, I wouldn't push my child into being involved in entrepreneurship. One, because honestly speaking, it's just not for everybody. Everybody doesn't have the qualities or the mindset, the commitment, that drive to be, an entrepreneur, and that is okay. I would just want my daughter to, be good in whatever way good comes to her. I come from my mother, the same way. It's so funny because the same way that my daughter is with me, I am with my mother. I literally watched my mother, and I'm literally a mini version of my mom now. My mom was my role model. She was always a hustler. She was always finding, and she always had an idea of something. Very smart, started multiple businesses, just was always working, hustling, whatever. And then always making sure her kids were good. And that's who I see myself as now. I would just want her in, whatever way she's going to be able to take care of herself. And, down the line when she chooses to have a family, take care of her family and be independent and not have to depend on anybody else or, look to a man or whatever, she's going to be good on her own. That's what I would want her to do, whether that is working, for somebody, working for herself, whatever that is. Because first of all, what people should also understand is that entrepreneurship, when you start your own business, it's very rare that things happen overnight. I'm literally 3 years, almost 4 years into my business and still, yes, you're 4, baby. And I'm still not, my business is still not where I needed to be, where I feel comfortable enough to quit my full-time job, if that makes sense. And that could possibly be because I have not quit my full-time job, but my full-time job, my 9-to-5 job that I still have is my comfort zone. When you're working on your own, you could have a great week and then the next week you could have a slow week. And my 9-to-5 job, I know that every 2 weeks I'm getting paid this amount, and I'm, God forbid if my business, if I said today, I don't want to be a business owner anymore, I still have my 9-to-5 job that I know is going to pay my bills. And that's why I keep it and me, I'm kind of a scary entrepreneur because everybody else, or the people, I think you do have to take that leap and just solely throw yourself into, your business 100% to see its full potential. But I don't want to ever make my child feel like there's anything wrong for working for someone else, because as long as it is paying your bills and keeping you fed, then I'm good with that,
Yeah. I agree with both of them. How they were saying about their businesses, I'm probably 2 years into my business and it's at a standstill right now. Just like Christina said, I thought, I was going to just go buy a semi truck and I was about to be making some money. I thought I was just about to be designer down. I just thought all these things that I seen on social media was going to happen because I've seen other people live that way. Yeah. And 2 years in my business, and I was so discouraged. I was like, a second thought, maybe I should just, figure something else out. So, being, like she said, being a business entrepreneur is not for everybody. And you do have those, like she said, her last business might be good, some days it might not. Some people can't handle that, and a lot of people on social media keep pushing us to say, you don't want your kids to work for anybody, your kids this, your kids that. I want my son to do whatever he wants to do. I just want to have the money for him to be able to do it. That's the only goal for me.
If he wants to go to med school, I want to be able to pay for it full out. If he wants to do this, I want to be able to, like, that's, I just want to support him as much as I can. I see what you were saying. Like, it is more, I guess, lucrative to not work for somebody and be free. But, people, sorry, I'm stuttering because my son is doing a lot. Hey, baby. We need other people. Like, just randomly, I seen a garbage man, and I was like, wow, I would never pick garbage. But in my mind, I'm like, thank God we have garbage men. So that's how I look at life. Like, everyone is not meant to just be out, on the computer on the beach, work from home. Like, that's not everybody's like go-to. Like, we need other people to do other stuff. So I would teach him everything is necessary to make his own money. I'm probably the parent that if he does call me, I'm probably just gonna give it to him. His dad, not so much. His dad's like, work hard. You gotta work hard. That's kind of me, but I'm more like, oh, I'll get it for you. Don't worry about it. So, but I'm still gonna teach him the necessary things about being independent. Like she said, like for her daughter not to need a man. I'm gonna teach my son to be a man, because I just feel like we're kind of come to slim up on that in this generation. So I want to teach him to be a man and provide, and to have a skill set. I feel like that's another thing you don't have. Men don't have a skill set. So I want my son to be able to provide, have a skill set, and just whoever he decides to be with, to know that they're being taken care of. Because I feel like, I don't know about y'all, but I feel like the reason why I am a hustler is because of that, like, aspect a little bit, like, because I feel like I have to provide for myself no matter what. And I want my son to make somebody's daughters to feel safe, that they wouldn't have to feel like that. If they wanted to, great. But if they don't, my son got you.
Yeah. I agree.
I feel you. Definitely, I agree with everything you guys said. Gave me a different perspective on it, especially when you said, thank God there's garbage man. Because if everybody had that same mindset of, let me work for myself, shit, I don't know where this world will be. So, but since we already talked.
Sorry guys, I gotta get going. My client just got here.
Okay.
But it was really great talking to you guys, though, and I appreciate you asking me to come on.
Can you let the listeners know how to find you on social media?
Oh yeah, definitely. My Instagram is Miss Lala1, and that's MZLALA1. My lingerie line is called Ooh La La Intimates, which is also listed on my Instagram page. And my bartending classes are also listed on there as well. I'm sorry, my voice sounds like this. I was working at the club, so it's been crazy weekend. But all my stuff is on there, and all the links to my websites are on there as well.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I appreciate you for taking your time out and squeezing this in your schedule.
No, of course. Thank you guys for having me. It was so nice to meet and talk to all you ladies. You guys are killing the game out there.
Thank you.
Bye. Good night, guys.
So what I was going to say, we talked about the challenging part of being a mompreneur. So what would you consider the more, what would be the rewarding side of it? Like, what would you consider like why you do it?
I think the rewarding part of it is doing something that you actually enjoy doing. Whereas, like, you see, working for somebody else, right? You're just, unless you're in a field that you totally picked for yourself and was like, this is what I want to do in my life. Usually you're in a field where you're there because of, the pay. And that may not be something that you enjoy doing, but it pays the bills. But when you create your own business, typically, I won't speak for everybody, but typically it's something that you have an interest in, or enjoy doing. So doing it doesn't always feel like a job, and I think that's very rewarding. Being able to set your own schedule and create your own days, or your own rules, your policies, basically you running the show. I think that's also rewarding. And then of course when it's going good, I think that's the most rewarding, because you want your business to do well. So when it's doing well, I think that's overall happiness for me.
Okay.
I definitely agree with Sky. Doing something that makes you happy, I think that's the bottom line, because I think a lot of people in life are just living it and they're not living it to their own happiness. Like she said, you're just there to get a paycheck, and for some people that's enough. You know,
Mhm.
they don't need anything more. But like she said, like when you're doing something you love, like what's that old quote? Like, are you really working? You know, like, I mean, yeah, you
Mhm.
are, but like, are you really, is this like a drag? You have to wake up and do lashes. Like, no, you're like, oh, okay, got a client. And then your daughter's like right there helping you. So like, it's just it's the same for me. Like, and another reason why I also went into business is just so I can help other people, especially women, especially Black women. Just because I know, like, coming up, we don't know a lot of avenues. We get told to be like, you know, 5 to 10 things that'll make you money when you get older. And I want to be able to provide other resources for them. So how I want to be able to do that, I want to have my own money and I want to be on my own time, you know? So
Mhm. That's dope.
that's why. Mhm.
I see it. I see it. And like pretty much, I mean, I guess if you're an entrepreneur and a mom, to have that patience to do both, I will hope you love what you do on the entrepreneur side. Because if you're able to balance the two, I mean, I would assume you love what you do because you have the patience to keep doing it. So, and I heard someone said, if you're doing something that you love and you're not doing it to be the best, then why are you doing it? So that's what I
Right.
got out of that. You guys have any advice for any mothers that are thinking about being entrepreneurs? Like they're on like the fence of doing it, but like they don't know if they should like pursue it.
Yeah, my advice would be, if you're thinking about it, think a little bit, take a little bit more time, think longer about it. And if you're still thinking about it, then do it. Like,
Mhm.
that's it. That's my answer. If you keep consistently thinking about something, stop doubting yourself and just do it. Like,
Yeah.
like it's never gonna get done if you keep doubting yourself. And do not let the fact that you're a mom, a dad, a parent, whatever, like, stop you from doing anything, because it does not have to stop you. It's gonna stop you if you allow it to. But a child is not the end all be all. Um, like we said, find that support system, take some time for yourself, and focus on what it is that's gonna make you happy, and just do it. Stop thinking about it. Do it.
For sure.
My advice is to, dang, I lost my train of thought. Oh, to understand that you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to wake up at 6. You don't have to go to yoga at 8. You don't have to do all this and then have your business meetings at 10. Just, get your own routine. Like, don't look at anyone else's success on social media. And I'm mostly talking to myself because that's how I feel like I'm supposed to be as a mom boss. But don't look at anyone else's success as a mom and an entrepreneur. Just find your own recipe and just go for it. Like, if it takes you, if you want, like she said, if you want to work your 9 to 5 and then do your hustle on the side and then wait until you have that faith to jump full into it, do it. You don't have to be like, you know what, I'm gonna quit this good 9 to 5 and I'm gonna jump. Just have a plan. Have a
You know
plan and
what?
do it to your own.
Also, since we're on the topic of like quitting 9 to 5s, I do want to point this out. Half of the people that you see saying, "Oh, I quit my 9 to 5 and look at my business and all this stuff," that's usually what's done on social media, and they only portray the good. Okay, they do not
Yep.
ever portray how
Yeah.
hard it was to get them to that position. They don't also tell you the backstory. Half of those people had a secure way of quitting their job to start their business. All right.
Mhm.
Like, they live with their parents, they don't have any rent to pay, or, they had a way, they had another way, so they quit their job, but they didn't quit their job with like no plan, like no plan B. They don't ever show you, what happens in between quitting your job and then, getting that
Mhm.
successful business. So also stop falling for these, like, social media gimmicks. That is not
Yeah.
everybody's reality. Okay. So do not feel that pressure to, quit or just jump out of the roof, or, jump out and say, I'm this is what I'm going to do, and I'm leaving, and tomorrow I'm going to be a millionaire. It does not happen like that for 90% of the real world. Okay. So do not feel pressured by social media or what anybody else has going on. You move at your own pace. And when you are comfortable, if that is what you want to do, then by all means, quit.
Facts. That's actually the reason I started this podcast, to like reveal the good and the bad side of entrepreneurship, so that people could, that that listen, because I do an episode on each individual entrepreneur aspect, like real estate, makeup artists, all that. So people listen to it and they can see what the good and the bad side of it, so they can see if it's something that they actually want to do. So it's like you said, social media sugarcoats everything. So.
Yeah, that's how they get all these likes, is by showing, hey, I quit my job in 2020 and now I live in a $2.2 million home. Like, what's the realty you said?
Right.
They don't show you their credit score though.
Right.
Yeah, you know, that no one really, I think that's like another one of my things is, as a woman, entrepreneur, mom, person thing, is to be transparent. Like, no one really wants to be honest.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. So like, I know you have like your tough times. So like, mental health, what do you do to help with that? Like, do you guys do yoga? Do you guys meditate? Or what would you recommend for on your downtime for mompreneurs?
Get a drink. Get a drink. Seriously, like pour yourself some wine or something. I want to get into meditation because I was watching a movie and somebody in the movie was actually meditating. It was that Halle Berry movie that just came out, Bruised, I think. And like she went to see somebody and they were meditating, and me just watching it, like I felt so, I don't know, I don't even know how to describe how it made me feel. And I said, wow, I think I need to really try this, but I don't do anything of that, nature now. I would say if you could find a babysitter, get a babysitter, even if it's for a couple of hours, even if it's not for a full day. Like, take some time for yourself. I know it's hard, being a mom, like that doesn't happen often, but when you do get that chance, take some time for yourself. Put your child down, to sleep maybe a little bit earlier that one day. And even if they're gonna wake up in maybe an hour or two, that 1 hour or two, take it for yourself. Don't focus on, anything business related, anything mom related. Just take that time for yourself. And even if it's just cleaning, the dishes or something, whatever you have not been able to get to, just try to do it. Like, just so you can feel a little bit more better. Because I know, like, being a mom, things build up. Like, there's some times where like I've run out of the house and I'm like, dang, I didn't wash the dishes, like, and then I
you
come
feel
home.
bad.
Yeah, you feel bad. And then you come home and you're drained. And it's like those dishes are looking at you. And it's like, all right, well, I'm still not going to wash them right now. I'll get to them in the morning. Like, just do whatever it is that you are unable to do, or fit into your regular schedule. Do that. Like, whether that's getting a glass of wine for yourself, calling a friend just to say hello, finding out what's going on in their lives, whatever it is you don't get to do, or it's hard to fit your schedule into, take some time to like just figure that out and do it. And you'll feel like, a little bit better because your focus is not just on being a mom or just running your business. Like, separate yourself from the mom and the business life for a few.
Definitely. For me, give them to the daddy. Give them to the daddy. For me, I actually am my son is 6 months and I'm just now getting into a place of self-care. I just now started getting like facials, and mind you, I do all this while he's at daycare. I just started getting facials. I started pole. Like, I am just now starting to, I guess, take time out for myself. And it's so funny because even before I had my son, I didn't do any of these things. I kind of, like I said, was just wanting it. And now that I have him, I make it a point to take time for myself. Like, Saturdays are me and my Sundays, and then Sundays is just me and my son being lazy. So it's just like she said, like, you just have to take time for yourself. And when we talk about the dishes thing, I am one of those people. I feel like if my kitchen is a mess, which I clean every day, all day, I think I wash twice a week, I feel like I am the worst mom in the world. Don't let anyone else's, like, the way they mom, dictate how you mom. I know that there's some people who feel like, oh, if my house isn't clean, then I'm just being lazy. And it's like, no, sometimes you're just being a mom. Like, you just don't have it in you. You just did lashes. You just did 6 people. Like, don't let anyone make you feel bad for doing how being a mom, how you be a mom. I know ever since I had my son, that's the argument that I've been having with a lot of people that are moms before me. I feel like I've been defending myself against other moms because they're like, well, you should do X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, well, I'm not doing X, Y, and Z.
Right.
So that's like something I would say. But yeah, like take time out, do something you never done before. My son does swim lessons, which I also like water. So that also helps me in self-care. I just kind of do anything really, just to try it out.
Got you. That's good to know. Like, at least you guys are finding the time to like release your stress and like be able to balance the mom life and the business life so that you can move forward with it, like, and not having too much pressure on you. So you guys have any, like, do you believe in like affirmations? Do you have any affirmations?
I do believe that they're important. I believe they're important, but honestly speaking, I don't do any. But it's so funny because I know that they're important. I don't know why I don't do any. But it's so crazy because I actually want my daughter, she's gonna start school soon. So my daughter, where we live at, she's not really around much children of color, I would say. And I already started to see, some alarming things like insecurities or something, just because she's looking at other people, that are not, the same demographics as her. So it's so funny because I actually just recently was looking up a whole bunch of like affirmation posters to put up in her room so that she could start, doing those. But yeah, maybe I should get some for myself.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you like listen to music on the way to work or whatever, but like listening to them also helps. I don't know if you consider doing that.
No, I never considered it, but I think I'm going to look into that.
I actually do not do affirmations. I don't know why I can't get into it. I need to. My son's not old enough yet, but I know that my son, by being a Black man, that I do need to instill his own like identity to him before the world tries to tell him himself. So yeah, no, I don't do affirmations. It's really funny because I'm like a nutcase. Like I just get in my car and I'm just like, look, you're a bad bitch. You got this. Like that's my affirmation, but it's not even like a, the cool ones on Instagram where it's like, you are a beautiful soul and you deserve money. Like I don't be having those. Mine's are a little ratchet. Mine's just like, bitch, who else is gonna get this money? That's about it. that's as far as I got. But I am gonna try to at least, I don't know, like how do you even incorporate affirmations into your life? I know a lot of people say they wake up and they see it in the mirror, but like I wake up and I feel like a chicken with my head cut off and I'm like rushing to get my son ready for daycare. So I don't know.
Yeah. That's why I just recommend just listening to it on your whatever time you have, because I know they have them on like Apple and like Spotify affirmations to listen to. So
that's a really good idea.
Yeah, thanks for saying that. I actually will look into that.
What are like some core values you want to instill in your children as far as being like just a mom?
Core values, kindness, respect, determination, honesty. I think those are really important to me. Like, especially, kindness. We don't have a lot of kindness in this world. And it's showing up in the kids from young. So definitely always be kind, always be honest and truthful to others and yourself. Determination, hard work and determination, that's going to get you wherever you want to go. And respect, treat others the way you want to be treated.
Yeah,
for sure.
Same as Sky, I want my son to treat, like, I think this is a quote or something, treat the janitor like you would treat the CEO. Like I want my son to treat everybody the same. Like she said, you can see now in the kids that kids are so mean to other kids about their skin color, their clothes, just what they look like. And I never want my son to be a part of that crowd. I always want him to be honest. And one thing that I struggle with, that I'm still struggling with, is not self-awareness, but more like self-preservation, more like, you got this, you can do this, and stuff like that. I want my son to be very confident in that. So like you said, respect. I want him to respect everybody. I want him to be honest with, people, because sometimes people lack honesty and it causes them to live in fantasy. And I want him to I can't find the word for it, but it's really to just like depend on himself for if he needs to do some things, like to really just like, like if all fails, like if plan B fails, then he's like, all right, that's okay, I'll figure it out, I'll keep going. Like I always want my son to keep going. I never want him to feel like he fails so he can never get back up. Those are some things that I struggle with sometimes. So I always want my son to know, like, when I was coming up, I always see my mom get hit and take L's, but I always see her get back up. And that's one thing I want him to also like take, is that you may fall, but you always get back up. The Bible says that a righteous man falls 7 times and gets back up 7 times. So that's exactly what I want my son to know.
Yeah. For sure. I'm not a parent, but if I was to instill any core values, like you got, both of you said it, respect. And I feel like that falls in line with being on time, respecting someone else's time, and also meaning what you say, as far as like being loyal and like just being true to your word. So those are 2 things that are important to me. But you guys have any book recommendations?
I'm actually reading a book now, Tabitha's Feeding the Soul. I really recommend that book. Tabitha, like listening to it, I feel like it literally feeds your soul. Like her book is what she says it is. I recommend Tabitha's book. She's a mom and she's a businesswoman, but she also tells you like her downfalls. Like one of the parts in the book, I'm not gonna tell the whole book, but this is my favorite part. She said that it took her 23 years to get to where she's at now.
Damn.
And her friend said, if God would have told you, I'm going to give you everything you ever wanted to ask for, it's just going to take you 23 years to do it, would you have said yes? So I recommend Tab's book.
That's dope. That's persistence right there.
23 years? Oh,
yeah.
The dream would have been over.
I don't have a book, but I have an app that I would love to recommend to moms. It's called What to Expect. And it's so dope. Like, I'm telling you, this app got me through so much, like from day one of my pregnancy, because what it does is it's one of those apps that, every week it tells you how your child grew or what's new going on in the belly, right? But what a lot of people don't know is that also inside of the app, there's a like a whole mommy group where like you put in your due date. So for instance, I was doing February 2018. So I went to the February 2018 group, and everybody who was doing February 2018, it was just a whole bunch of moms going through it. Moms who already, for the first time, moms who went through it multiple times. But it was so relieving because there was times where like, remember I said earlier, I was on bed rest for 17 weeks, basically. There was times where like, something would happen, and this is my first pregnancy. I don't know what this means. I would go, and I swear to you, there will always be somebody who's going through the same thing. And then other people who've already went through it. Oh yeah, that happened to me. I went to my doctor. This is what it was. Like, it was just so comforting. It was like, I don't know, like for me, literally, like, and I followed that group probably up until my daughter was like, 1.5. So after it's like you're going through your pregnancy with someone else, like it's your twin sister or something, like, and then you just watch these kids, come out and then grow up, and you're still going through it. Like, that first year, all those tribulations, and it's just great. It's really like a support group with a bunch of people you don't know, but it was just really dope to have that. And, like any questions, that I possibly had, was answered. It was just really dope. And I think a lot of like new moms, first time mom, second time mom, whatever, like a lot of people, especially if you don't have that support system, like, you know, or even if you do have that support system, I just think it's a great app that I feel like all moms should know about it, like, and continue it, like, even after you give birth. Like, it was just really good. So
That's
it's called
dope.
What to Expect. You can find it in the App Store.
Okay.
It's purple.
That's a whole gym right there for the mothers. So that's dope.
Yes.
So we're about to wrap this up because I got 1 minute left. But I want you guys to let people know, well, the listeners know how to find you or your business so that they can contact you for any services.
Okay, so my personal Instagram is _Skye SKYEN. My lash page is Sky's Lash Lounge. Yeah, I'm only on Instagram. That's where you can find me.
Gotcha. Yeah, you gotta tap into TikTok.
My Instagram is Marche Dejeuner, DEJONY, and that's like my Facebook, my Instagram, my TikTok, my Twitter. I deactivate them very often for mental health reasons, but not so that's like where you can find me.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you guys for being here. I know I squeezed this into your schedule, and Skye, this was last minute, so I want to thank you guys for just being here in general, because I always say time is money. So appreciate you guys for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you. This was great.
It was nice talking to you guys.
Same.
Marche is a MILF.
Hey, you guys have a good night. You guys have a good night. And that's a wrap on another episode. So like, subscribe, let me know what you think about this episode, drop a comment, and yeah, till next time, peace.